Hey, yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, guys. Well, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of World of Tanks. And we have Fisherman Joe, who's been on a mission recently. Ever since I showed his Super Conqueror game where he hung out in one spot and dropped 7,000 and never really moved from cap, he's been on a mission to prove to me that he actually does move around. I never actually believed that he just sat in one spot on every map. I've had several of his replays. Good player, making it happen, but he's been incentivized to show me some good gameplay, which is good for you because we have another episode here of Weird Tanks Nobody Plays. And you're going to say, come on, Guido, that's BS. It's a T-34. The game is full of T-34s. T-34-85, T-34-85M, T-34, T-34 shielded, T-44, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, lots of them. This one, though, is an odd duck because it's a Tier 7 T-34. Suffers a little bit from having its hull upgraded to a Tier 7, but it does have a 100mm gun with 250 Alpha in it, which is a considerable upgrade to the standard 180 Alpha top gun of the 85mm at Tier 6. And it's also Czechoslovakian. So a later upgrade to a T-34, adding a 100mm gun to it, which I think is about as much gun as you would ever want to put into a T-34. And the Czechs did it. I think this thing operated for quite a while in the real world, in between, after World War II, basically. So Fisherman Joe's going to go up here to the northwest, and he's going to hang out. Now, he's not top tier. He's middle tier, so he's got some Tier 6s to bully if he can get a hold of them. But he does have some Tier 8s he has to worry about and try to dig through. There's a T-26 E5, which is going to play into this game. There's a prototype and a T-44. Both of which Fisherman Joe will engage, actually, during this game, and some other cats and dogs. And at the end of the game, we're going to have the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. So just wait for that. That's fantastic. Though this tank is really only played to get through to the Tier 8. To the Tier 8 Czech tank. Which I believe, doesn't it change into heavies at that point? I think that's right. So it's a weird line. Here we go. And we're going to start punishing a 3001. Look at that, dropping 255, which will be a little surprising to some people if a T-34 starts dropping 250 regularly on you, vice just having a lucky high roll. But remember, this is a Tier 7, so it is upgun. Fisherman Joe's really the only guy over here. The Progetto's gone in, but we actually snapped that guy on the run. Well done. The Progetto's gone in, and he has got their attention, and he did win that little engagement. So Fisherman Joe's going to follow that up. The Progetto gets hammered. Fisherman Joe hits the T-44. The T-44 is kind of hanging out there, and Fisherman Joe doesn't keep pushing. He's actually probably invisible to this T-44 because of the bush mechanics. He's looking for his shot, trying to get his light, and look at that. Pretty quickly, that T-44 is all of a sudden wondering, where did all my hit points go? Well, at 250 a whack, that's where they went. There's a 3045M up there as well. The rest of the team is doing okay. They're winning. Looks like the T-44 missed. That's very good. And shot one into the hole. T-44 is looking for an opportunity to get a shot. It looks like he's running the 122, isn't he? Well, that's to Fisherman Joe's advantage. I wonder if Fisherman Joe noticed that. If he did, that's good, because I felt like he was standing in there for a long time, just asking to be shot, but it looks like he realized the guy was running the large gun. He does get pinned by 3045, but 3045 eats a Progetto shot, and down he goes. I think that was a pretty decent trade. 1,878 damage, and they've completely collapsed this flank. Considering what's still in the game, Joe still has the opportunity to take 2 hits and remain in the game. Well, 2 hits and he's out probably from the prototype. Should be able to sustain 2 hits from most anything else. All right, here we go. Obviously, the 150 and the KV-85, depending on the guns they have, and a bit of a high roll could take him out as well. Still, he has options. He has options. So like I said, not a lot of people play this. They certainly don't go back to it. I don't think I'm wondering if Fisherman Joe is actually grinding through. He may be. I happen to like it. I got a pretty good win rate out of this. Now, that was a while ago, so I can't tell you that in this particular meta it's a great tank. So he eats a shot from the T-26 E5 trying to get by, who is in a very strong hold down position. That guy will play into this game here in just a moment. Now notice their T-26 E5. Joe basically took down the T-44 with some help from the Progetto, but pretty much alone, just 2 of them. The prototype's in decent shape. He's over here. He's got a really great gun. But Joe just gaffs off the T-26 and comes down here and says, well, let's break this little push here. Oh, did he miss? It looks like he missed that first shot. That is a bummer. This guy does not know he's there. He does now. Look how slow that turret is. All right, guys, here's a little lesson for you. This prototype is attempting to turn around the turret by not turning the hull. And look how slow the turret is on the prototype. It's just one of the weaknesses of the American turreted TDs. Most of them, in fact, I'm pretty sure all of them, have really slow turrets. He's probably thinking he needs to cover up against these other guys, maybe worried about artillery. I think for me, the first problem was Joe here, and all I would have done was spun the hull and the turret and try to get the gun on. I really want to get my front armor to this guy. Yeah, I might get shot in the back by the arty, but that can't be helped. I have to deal with this guy first. But this is all about Joe and his domination of the poor prototype, who sort of gets his gun on and then doesn't fire for some reason. Don't know if he wasn't reloaded or was having trouble getting his gun sight on or what. I have no idea. So Joe's going to keep on pushing. He's got 4 kills, 2,212 damage. Almost the perfect number. If it was 12-12, it'd be great. But 2,212 damage number thing. At least has 112 in it. That's good. He's wondering if the 150 is turned around. So I thought that was a good move. Just kind of take a peeky. His team is trying to cap, which is a terrible idea against a hold down T-26 E5 when you're in an Easy 8 and an MT. They should have just run away. And he finds the 150. And the 150 is pretty busy. Oops. All of a sudden we have awareness developing. Lights him on fire, but the automatic fire extinguisher works. Tries a snap and actually misses him. And it's all over. But the Schouten, look at that, just takes down a full hit point, 150, T-150, without taking any damage. And that's a very good thing, because we're about to have the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies. This was an interesting sequence to me. We have Joe kind of moving up. We've got a JP and an arty, and you might think, well, this is a pretty easy win. I mean, look at this. We got a JP that can take 3 or 4 hits, and we have Fisherman Joe who can take a couple. This is all over but the Schouten. But to be quite honest, this gets misplayed a little bit, and then we're going to get into some serious shenanigans. So Fisherman Joe backs off, which not a bad idea. But now we're not helping the JP. So really, if both of you had gone up and over, this is over in a heartbeat. But as it turns out, the JP has moved in. He's found himself some armor, some extra armor, and he's attempting to take this guy on, but you're not helping him. Now, yes, that is a strong position for a hold-down tank, but it's not strong when you both get up over top and start just pummeling him. So really, what's interesting is you two have kind of gone hold-down, but then you've given him an advantage because he's a stronger hold-down tank. And he's gonna just eat this poor JP up. You get a shot into him, that's good. And now he's punishing the JP. Long, relatively wise reload on the 100 on the T-34 100. So it does take a while for him to reload, and he's just absolutely abusing this poor JP, who should have gone out and around and stopped trying to hide. So to be quite honest, misplayed by both you guys here. This guy should have been dead ages ago. But it's a good thing. I like that he's not dead, because we're about to have some fun. There goes the last heat round, which we're able to put through his turret. He's sitting there. And we have Fisherman Joe. The JP is mad. Fisherman Joe, his Lorraine 155-50 buddy, and this 2-shot T-26 E5, maybe 3-shot. Both of them can probably take 2. There they go. They trade. Now both are probably nervous, because with a high roll, pretty significant high roll for Joe, a little bit less of a high roll for, well, 262. I don't know. He's got a 240 Alpha on the T-26 E5. It's about even, to be quite honest. It's possible that one or the other could kill one or the other. It's possible they could one-shot each other with a high roll. And so now this rock has now become the center of these two tanks' world. The dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies. I want to say flum. Sugar Plum Fairies. Here comes the Lorraine. He wants a shot. I don't know why he didn't shoot right there, but he wants to make sure it's a good shot. And all right, we're gonna trade shots, and neither one of them got killed. They're very definitely a one-shot now. The Lorraine goes in. He gets sideways. He's looking. Oh, he can't quite get it. He's backing out. He doesn't commit. Again, another misplay. So the Lorraine should have just went straight at him. Not try to come around behind him. Just drive straight over this ridge right here and either try to ram him or go right at him. Get him to get shot at. And then Fisherman Joe could have jumped in there during the reload. The trick is that the T-26 reloads very quickly for a heavy. In fact, it might be slightly inside the T-34-85's reload. If it's not, it's very similar. So we've got the artillery trying to figure out what to do. Everybody's a one-shot. And it looks like the artillery is getting a little bit smart. And he's thinking, all right, I need to go ahead and try to just drop one. Here's something that you guys need to think about, because I think he's trying to get too good of a shot. What he needs to do is just drop it into the back of the wall, and it'll splash the snot out of the T-26E5. It'll splash the snot out of him. And if the T-26E5 wants to commit and try to kill the Arty because he's fired, he'll get killed by Fisherman Joe. So I think he's trying to get a kind of a direct hit. Let's see where he shoots it, though, because he's waiting for the guy to come back up. Joe does a good thing and tells him to back up a little bit, because backing up is going to give him a little bit more arc and drop it down in there a little bit better. There we go. Was that a direct hit? It looked like a pretty direct hit to me. So that's what he was looking for. Again, I would have splashed him. He's down to 15 at this point. And we're going to have one more round. This one's kind of funny because the T-26 realizes he has to do something. So he makes a go of it. And instead of going after... Instead of going after the Arty, the misplays here are amazing. Instead of going after the Arty and just getting rid of him, and then doing a circle jerk around this rock, which is, this rock now has more importance than it's ever had in this entire history of this game. He goes ahead and ignores the Lorraine. Actually, the Lorraine probably could have ran in and rammed the guy to death, but he doesn't do that. He just sits there reloading, and he gets... There he goes. Back down into the pit. Oh, man, this is great. And then he's going to back out here, get himself a better arc once again. And the poor T-26 gets nuked by the 155-50. Holy cow, man, that was crazy. Nice game. Look at this. Mid-tier T-34-100. Odd tank, very few people play. 4,137 damage, 44 assists, 5 kills, and a really nice job right there. I felt like you had multiple opportunities to end this earlier, but you know what? The result was good, and it was a lot of fun to watch. So thanks for sending that in, man. I do appreciate it. That's all I've got for today. We will see ya.